welcome to the Love Laugh Live Chat Show with myself, Gurdial Garcha, and the wonderful Dav Ubi. Pyar karo haso ta juk juk jiyo wala show.
So our show is all about creating and guiding you on how to manifest a more fulfilling life that you deserve and desire, and how to raise your consciousness through loving, laughing and living. So my name is Devinda Ruby. I'm a life and spiritual coach, and sitting next to me are a beautiful co-host.
And my name is Gurdial Garcha, and I'm an empowerment and resilience coach.
So what's today's topic?
You're going to tell us all about the topic today.
That's because
you've written a lovely story.
एक छोटी सी कहानी लिखी है और मैं पढ़ूंगी and तुसी काफी कुछ सीखोगे इस कहानी तो.
ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੋਰਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਵੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਕੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਂਡ ਤੇ ਦੱਸੂਗੇ ਵੀ ਵਾਟ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਮੋਰਲ ਆਫ ਦ ਸਟੋਰੀ, ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਕਾਹਤੇ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਦੀ ਅੰਡਰਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਕੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ.
Okay, so मैं शुरू करती हूँ स्टोरी कहानी.
ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹ ਦਾ ਕੱਪ ਲੈ ਲਵੋ ਤਾਂ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ. So ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ there was a disagreement between ਇੱਕ ਗਧੇ ਤੇ ਘੋੜੇ ਦੇ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ. ਕਾਫੀ ਚਿਰ ਕੀ ਬਹਿਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ.
ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਗਧਾ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਘੋੜਾ ਬਹਿਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ. ਤੇ ਗਧਾ ਕਹੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਘਾਹ ਆ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਲਾਲ ਰੰਗ ਦਾ, ਇਟਸ ਰੈਡ, ਐਂਡ ਘੋੜਾ ਕਹੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹਾਊ ਕੈਨ ਗ੍ਰਾਸ ਘਾਹ ਬੀ ਅ ਕਲਰ ਰੈਡ, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਹਰਾ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ. ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਚਿਰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡਿਸਐਗਰੀਮੈਂਟ ਚੱਲੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ. ਐਂਡ ਘੋੜਾ ਕਹੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈ ਰਹੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਸਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਤਾਂ ਘਾਹ ਹਰਾ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਲਾਲ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ. ਪਰ ਗਧਾ ਕਹੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਲਾਲ ਹੀ ਲਾਲ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ. ਸੋ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਓਕੇ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਰਿਜ਼ੋਲਵ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ. ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੰਗਲ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਸੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸ਼ੇਰ ਤਾਂ ਸਹੀ ਆਨਸਰ ਹੀ ਦਊਗਾ. ਸੋ ਘੋੜਾ ਗਿਆ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੁਣ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਣਾ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਘੰਟੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਡਿਸਐਗਰੀਮੈਂਟ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਫਸੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ. ਸੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਕੋਲੇ ਤੇ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੋਨੋਂ ਜਾਣੇ ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਲੁੱਕ ਆਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਇਹ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕੀ ਸੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀ ਆ, ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕੀ ਸੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀ ਆ. ਫਿਰ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਕਾਫੀ ਚਿਰ ਸੋਚ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਥਿੰਕਿੰਗ ਇੱਕ ਸਿਚੁਏਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਆਨਸਰ ਮੈਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੇਵਾਂ. ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੈਰਾਨ ਹੋ ਗਏ. ਓਕੇ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਘੋੜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗਧਾ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਗਧੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਘਰ ਵਾਪਸ ਲੈ ਜਾ, ਨਾਲੇ 2 ਦਿਨ ਦਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਖਾਣਾ ਦੇਈ, ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਘਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚਲ ਜਾ. ਪਰ ਘੋੜੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ 1 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਮਿਲਣੀ ਆ, ਛਿੱਤਰ ਪੈਣੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਤੇਰੀ ਪਨਿਸ਼ਮੈਂਟ ਆ. ਫਿਰ ਘੋੜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੇ ਹੁਣ ਲੈ ਗਿਆ ਗਧੇ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋ ਕੇ because obviously ਹੁਕਮ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ because ਉਹ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਸੀਗਾ the ਰਾਜਾ of the jungle. ਸੋ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਗਿਆ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਇਆ. ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਘੋੜਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਂਦੀ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਸੱਚਾਈ ਕੀ ਆ, ਹਾਊ ਕੈਨ ਘਾਹ ਕੈਸੇ ਲਾਲ ਰੰਗ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਰੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਹਰਾ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਪਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਗਧੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਗੋਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਾਬਾਸ਼ ਉਹਦੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਮਝਾਇਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ. ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੱਸ ਕੇ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਇਹ ਰੰਗ ਘਾਹ ਦਾ ਲਾਲ ਆ ਹਰਾ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਆ ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰਾ ਵਕਤ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਕਤ ਮੇਰਾ ਵਕਤ ਵੀ ਇੰਨਾ ਤੂੰ ਵੇਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ, ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ ਆ. ਤੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਘੰਟੇ ਐਂਡ ਸਾਡੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਕਤ ਇੰਨੀ ਕੀਮਤੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਇੰਨੀ precious thing as time ਤੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਵੇਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਉਣ ਨੂੰ, ਤੂੰ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਵੇਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ ਆ. ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਘਾਹ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਹਰਾ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, ਪਰ ਤੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਵਕਤ ਵੇਸਟ ਕੀਤਾ. ਐਨੀਵੇ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਗਧਾ ਘੋੜਾ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਪਰ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੈਂ had to help ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸੀਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਉਣ ਨੂੰ, ਪਰ ਕੋਈ ਮਦਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਸੀਗੀ. The real intention was that the donkey felt like ਮੈਂ ਸਹੀ ਆ, ਮੇਰਾ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਦਾ proof point ਮੂਰੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਗਧਾ ਗਲਤ ਆ. So there's a lot of conflict there that who's right and wrong. So that's the story. It's like if you're right from the start, Gada, I mean, the Sher Kenda, according, if you don't pata to say Siga right from the beginning, let the donkey believe, Gadenu believed what it wants to do. I mean, what have you got to lose? Just because he wanted to believe the color of the grass was red and not green, you know, it doesn't mean, oh, jara mandani siga sachi ka hare to lal ho jena. On ta kuch change the hona si rang. But you wasting all that time trying to prove your point, is cheez se bahut, you know, saja mil rahi hai tenu. So anyway, do you get it?
I totally get it.
Yeah. So the moral is here. The moral we're going to explain now that life there is zindagi which and then kinne situations aange that the petty silly arguments, disagreements, when you think what on earth is this person thinking, aida kyo banda soch raha, when it's such faltu koi gal hai, faltu koi disagreement hai gaya. But this is when you should carefully think and decide, should you allow yourself to invest any of your precious time, you know, arguing and giving your clarification, your point of view, trying so hard to speak in your defense. This is, you know, trying to express your opinion. Better to say sometimes at any situation, tu saying, you know, I agree to disagree, but live your life how you want to believe, and I'm going to live my life how I want to live, but I'm not going to waste my energy and time ko faltu disagreement the which. So this is where the Sher was saying, you know, you're wasting, because sade vaste ek second bahut qeemti hai. So why waste it on a situation like that? And we do that all the time, most of our lives, that we think that we know the answer and it's so important for us to make the other person believe and agree to our answer.
And understand.
But some people are not ready to understand. So that's when you're thinking, what's more important to me right now? Is it important for me to be right or to be happy? But we, all our lives as humans, we're always seeking opportunities to be happy, but jad mauka milda happy hon da assi oh nahi choose karde hege. We're thinking, I want to be right. So all of a sudden, that's when the ego kicks in, thinking, minu chain nahi aani, minu tasalli nahi aani, I'm going to get that peace of mind until I prove I'm right. But trying to prove yourself right, you're ending up wasting so much of your precious waqt and time. And this is a choti ji story hai, kahani hai, but it's a bahut bada lesson hega, that how much do we do that we think that we need to be right. Why does being right is so important? What is it that we're trying to achieve? How can being right can be anything more important than being happy? Happy means that, okay, if you want to say the car is red, it's red. Tere vaste red hai, but I know mere vaste green hai, I'm happy with that. You know, it just because tu red kenda doesn't mean asli car is sachi red hoi jana, oda hara rehna hai.
And I think at the end of the day, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
Be meri odi life te asar ta koi paya nahi.
Yeah.
It made no difference in terms of their life.
Yeah.
The donkey was the same, the gora was the same. But I think, like we discussed earlier, it's about being right, and it's about feeling and wanting to be superior.
Yeah.
And to feel like main ede naal clever ha, eh ta, you know, he's just a gada. Gada na?
Yeah.
And you know, just to feel like be main sahi ya oh galat hai. And this is the conflict that happens. Koi bhi aapa gal karde ha, koi bhi disagreement hunde ghar de vich bhi hove ja aaj the story de vich it's not about understanding bhi haan bhi oh bhi sahi ho sakda. Like I said to you, it could be colorblind, hai na?
Yeah, it could be colorblind or lali this time, maybe ode vaste say it's right for that gade vaste. And
Par odi sochni honni hai.
yeah, that's me odi soji hai. And we say that some people jade jade padhe likhe hunde hai, sometimes, like you said, being intellectual, there's a lot of positives to it, but then the negative part comes in, you think you're superior, you know more, that I need to be respected more, and you should agree to what my opinion or my views, because you somehow hankar banjan if you're more educated. And so maybe the Gora sochta say, well, I know more, I know the answer, so you should agree with me. And that's not coming from a place of somebody really trying to be helpful to Gadinu, that, you know, it's trying to say like, you have to, you know, understand and agree to what my opinion is and my views. and that's not coming from a place of really humbleness. Nimrata ch nahi hunda, that person is more hankari hunde a, they think they know better. How you can relate this? Tusi kita have this situation, tusi socho, where have you been in situations where somebody you know, or they're not agreeing with you, but you think you are absolutely right, you've had more experience, you've had so many thinking main zyada umar mein kinna kuch achieve kita, so I know the answers, and somebody's not agreeing with you. Do you get offended? Do you feel upset why they're not agreeing with me?
I think definitely ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹਨਾ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ this definitely happens, especially through the generations. I think ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿਆਣੇ ਆ, you know, the parents or the grandparents, because they have had that life experience, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੁਣਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ they come from the place of I know better. I know better, I know what I'm talking about, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਮੈਂ ਆਹ ਕੰਮ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਾਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੂੰ, and that's completely right. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ that was right. But life changes, we evolve. You know, if you think about technology, you know, there's AI coming in now, artificial intelligence. But ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ, if you're not open to change, then you're stuck. Because ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ego ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ, you know, you think, and we're all guilty of it, you know, a situation ਆ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ where we just want to argue, or we just want to make, you know, say that we're right, because you can just get caught up in the situation where ਆਪਾਂ react ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਠੰਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਨਾਲ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸਹੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ, ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਸਹੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹਾਂ. But you know, because that's what makes the world such a beautiful place, because everybody's got their own views. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ 100 ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕਰੀਏ, 100 people could have a different view on any subject, and nobody's wrong. You know, because it's just a view. It's सोचनी आ, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਝ ਗਲਤ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ. But the only time the ਨੁਕਸਾਨ happens is ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ view ਕਿਸੇ ਤੇ force ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. You know, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਨ ਨੂੰ ਤਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਦੱਸਦੀ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ force ਕਰਦੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਸਹੀ ਆ, ਤੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਗਲਤ ਆ. So there's ਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ where there's you know, there's this hierarchy. ਵੀ I'm better than you because ਕਿ ਮੇਰਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਤੇਰੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਚੁਸਤ ਆ. But that's not nice, it's not kind, and it's not coming from a place of appreciation or understanding of the other person. You know, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ, if you think about it, the person who sits all day and doesn't speak doesn't mean he's wrong, it just means that he prefers to be quiet and not to engage in these kind of conversations. I mean, I know there's one quote, not my monkey, not my circus, not my circus, not my monkeys. Have you heard that? Be jithe log आपस ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹਿਸਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, there's no point, you know, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਸ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਚੋਂ. The only thing that can happen is action. ਵੀ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ let's find a solution where you're taking on board everybody's opinion, and then the best opinion is what works for everybody, which works for the a betterment of everybody. But where I'm saying I'm right, I'm not willing to listen to everybody else, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ the way you said ਹੰਕਾਰ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, and you're not open to change. That this is where ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ, we're not talking about just other people, we're saying that this happens to us. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਗੁੱਸਾ ਚੜਦਾ ਹੈ, frustration ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, disappointment ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣੀ, ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਮੰਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ. And that's where, you know, you're not agreeing, you're not disagreeing, you get to a point where there's stalemate. ਫਿਰ ਲੋਕ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨੂੰ ਬੋਲਣੋਂ ਹਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ because ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਾ, ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣੀ. But it doesn't matter about age or experience, it's just about being open to understanding that life changes all the time, and it's about being kind and compassionate and understanding. Be short and nyana. Sometimes a small child can have a better viewpoint than a grown adult. But if you're open to listening to that.
I mean, just simple things like jita picture je COVID hoya siga, and a lot of people have different opinions about vaccinations, say they're dangerous, lene chahiye, nahi lene chahiye. So a person who really believed, who thinks in the medical profession, will think, you know, this is so important, you must take it, you know, your life depends on it. So they came from a place of what they knew was
their medical
best,
opinion,
right? But if somebody was trying to, no, I don't believe in this stuff, you know, and this is dangerous, and you guys are, you know, taking advantage of people's lives. And so it's two different opinions. They're all coming, they're right in their own way, but then someone's in the medical profession thinking, well, meta and study degree kitti, I'm an expertise in my field. They could feel offended, think I know better, you should believe what I say. But the other person who has trust in their own body or whatever, they come in a place, well, I actually don't need those vaccines. I know I'm in a strong place and I trust in my own body, you know, antibodies, whatever it is, and my immune system is strong. So can you see there's that's a difference in opinion, but the doctor probably feels like, you know, feel offended, thinking all these years of studies, you don't respect my education, my expertise. But that's when, why does a doctor need to prove that? Because if that doctor really was confident in itself that, okay, some people will understand me, some people won't, but as long as I give my advice, if they don't want to take it, that's fine. But some doctors might feel like meri respect nahi kiti. They're coming from their own insecurity. They want to be heard. They think they're important. So that's just an example there. As a whole, thousand examples ho sakte hain, you know, where we think like I should a cheez khani chahiye hai, you know, eh thode waste garam hai, eh thode waste eh hai, oh hai. And somebody found me, well, actually it's just a belief. Somebody could say, well, that's your belief. Main jo main khande minta koi problem nahi hai. So somebody, even there's a disagreement, thinking, well, sari duniya ne pata hai, eh cheez bahut garam hai, whatever. You know, you get that. Or some people believe in things like, you know, thodi taran pe ya godi pe. Some people, I don't believe in all that. So this is where people, what they believe to be true is true for them, but you shouldn't force it on somebody else, because it's what they believe in is true for them. But we easily get offended, so when we're trying to so hard to convince them, you're wasting your time and you're wasting other people's times, when sometimes you just got to let it go and just feel like, if I'm happy, if it works for me, it's fine. If in Midway City, it's fine. It doesn't mean what works for you is going to work for everybody else.
And I think the other thing is, Jithe, we've got to accept that everybody's got their own view, but jinnah da view hega ya, it's okay. Jaruri nahi ho that I have to force my opinion on you, because I think within families or even friends, if my friend doesn't, or my family doesn't listen to what I've said and they do something the opposite, then I'm upset. Because ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਹੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਾ. So it's about control. It's about doing something I want. It's not about them. So if I'm thinking from a place of their happiness, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ, then I shouldn't be offended. I should be thinking, ਚੱਲ it's their life, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗੂ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣ, ਹੈਨਾ. ਪਰ ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਹੇ ਲੱਗਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਉਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ, well then first of all there's an expectation there ਕਿ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਹੇ ਲੱਗਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ, right? ਤਾਂ ਦੂਜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, you're going to be disappointed. So first of all you've got an expectation. If they don't do that, then you're going to be upset, frustrated, angry, or you know, शायद कई बारी बोलना भी कोई लोग हट जाते हैं, कहना भी, you know, or मेरे कहने च नहीं है, things like that. And that's a type of control, and we're not respecting our adult children or anybody to have their own view कि इन्हां दी भी choice हैगी आ, भी जिद्दां इन्हां ने अपनी life जीनी आ, साडी भी choice सीगी, हुण भी हैगी आ तां अग्गे भी सीगी. It doesn't matter about age. Obviously we're not talking about small children having a choice to do whatever they like. We're talking about grown adults. तां respect दी गल हुंदी आ भी असी औखा हुंदा है, because we do want our families to be together and spend quality time, but life is so fast now. We know that everybody is busy in doing what they want to do. Hon ajkal, you know, there's so much that everybody can do, but we still want some kind of control. And unless we let go of that control to be right, you know, in the case of the gada and the horse. I feel like saying gada and the donkey, but you know what I'm saying is, it's okay, you know, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਆਪਣਾ enjoy ਕਰੋ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. But it's nice to come to a place where you can just talk and be okay with it. Yes, there's going to be times ਕੋਈ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਵੀ, oh, you know, ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਾਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏ, ਆਹ ਕਾਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਆਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, but then that means you're not happy in your own life.
So,
you're looking for
yeah.
them to make you happy.
So in that story, Gade te Kodi the story, who was the happiest? Even though the Gadas was wrong in the sense the grass is
Yeah.
color green,
But he could be colorblind.
it could be colorblind, but out of those two, right, who knew the answer, which was, you know, Kore the answer say sige, but oh dasiga, he was under tension, he was frustrated, so he's at a very low vibration, and the Gada who got the answers wrong, but oh kush siga, he didn't know any better, so he was just happy. So he, after that, he gained happiness, and the Kora was unhappy. So saja onu miliya, not Gadenu, saja ta miliya, because he was already in a low vibration, feeling like I'm not being heard, you know, meri kadar nahi karde, you know, I know the right answer, he needs to accept my answer, and not minu, you know, chair nahi aa rahi. So he already that low vibe, so he attracted more of the punishment. Or in fact, because he's in a happy place, the Gada, so what did he attract? 2 days of food and happy going home and just feeling life is good.
Yeah, and believing what he believed.
Yeah.
He never changed his opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm just going to chip in with a quick story here. There were these two Buddhists, and I'm sure you've heard this story. That ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਉਦੋਂ what is Sant Mahatma, what you call them Buddhist, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਨਾ, we're not going to touch a lady, we're not going to touch a woman.
Yeah.
We see turi turi jandi. Do you remember this story by the river?
The river, yeah.
They're going to walk along the river and they're going somewhere. We're not going to touch a woman. But jandi jandi ek jane nu siani jadi siani budi si who wanted to cross the river. So what
Actually,
he did was,
she was a young lady.
oh okay, that doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. But anyway,
Yeah.
so he put her on his shoulders and he carried her across the river and he put her on the other side because that's how he felt that he needed to do that. And then turi turi jande dooja banda onu kenda bhi assi te kya sige bhi
Kafi chair, this is going a while. He's thinking.
So they carried on walking, and then the other person said to him bhi, oh appa kya siga sadi salah si bhi assi kise lady nu hath nahi launa. Why did you do that? ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਰੱਖ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ, ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਖਤਮ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਹਲੇ ਵੀ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਉਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਲਈ ਜਾਂਦਾ
You're still holding her, you're still carrying her,
you're still carrying her. So this is what we're saying, because the Kora never let go. ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਆ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ, ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੱਚਾਈ 'ਚ he knew the grass was green, so that's it. He didn't need to do anything else. ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੱਚਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, you don't need to prove anything to anybody. You know, he went to the efforts of going to the king that ਉਹਨੇ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਬਸ ਮੈਂ ਸਹੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਉਹ you know ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਥੱਲੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ. That was it. It was about ego.
You wanted to prove that.
He wanted to prove that he's not as clever as I am. That's the bottom line.
But that's what we all do.
And we all do it.
We want to show that we're right.
Yeah.
But this is such an disempowering way to live. Can you imagine that my happiness, my peace of mind,
मेरी सोच नहीं.
yeah, it depends on other people. You know, they have to agree with me.
Accept.
But nobody can't agree with you. Everybody's on their own journey. But living in that disempowering way all your life, that other people's opinions should agree with me, then makoshia, that is a really horrible way to live. Always in that disempowering way. But
and I think definitely karke, and this is where, you know, like a river, we have to just carry on flowing with life. But we don't, karke ਅਸੀਂ stuck ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵੀ you know ਜੇ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ then I'm not happy. So therefore we're not flowing with life, because our happiness will depend on my children doing exactly what I want them to do, the grandchildren, or you know, my job should be this way, my co-workers, you know, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ, they have to behave in the way that I feel is acceptable. But why should anybody do anything that makes me feel better? You know, we have to understand that everybody's got their own life, and it is difficult to accept that. You know, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਔਖਾ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਆਦਤਾਂ, habits, how we're wired, all those things affect how we behave with other people. But if you're not willing to kind of put yourself in their shoes and understand that they have the same rights as you do. They have the right to be, you know, go out, be with their friends, or spend quality time with different people and not be home at a certain time, you know, just for example. and you've got to be happy in doing what makes you happy, not dependent on them. And that's the only way. There is no other way to kind of lead a fulfilling life, because otherwise ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਾਤ ਦਿਨ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ grandchildren ਤੇ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ, ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਟਾਈਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ, then we're always going to be unhappy because we're not fulfilling ourselves or our purpose.
Yeah, our ego is very, very cunning, and sometimes it will try and say to you, oh, but you're helping this person, you're helping them to come to the truth. But no, if you know it's bothering you, that means if somebody's not agreeing with you, that is an indicator, a very strong sign that you actually don't even value yourself. You're not confident in what you believe, that you need someone else's validation, that if they agree with you, then you feel more important. But if you truly in love with yourself, truly feel that you are important and you trust yourself 100%, if somebody doesn't agree with you at all, it won't have any impact on you. It wouldn't trigger, it wouldn't bother you at all. So it really is about yourself. What part of you don't really fully trust and feel important in yourself? That mainu tai tasalli, peace of mind mili when somebody agrees with me. That is what this powerful indicator sign is. So use these situations when somebody does not agree with you, and it's obviously a very small petty thing. Ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Why can't I feel at peace with it? Why does it feel like I need to get my point across to get them to understand me? Why is it that important? Why can I get to how can I get to a situation where I don't need their validation, but I'm actually I know the opinions and my feelings say that's enough, it's more than enough. When you know it's more than enough, I don't need other person's feedback, then you know you are fully engaged and embraced with your wholeness in yourself.
I mean, that's just such a beautiful way of describing it. But I'm just trying to think in terms of like family life. These things happen where people will want to assert their authority, be ਕਿਸੇ ਤੇ ਰੋ ਪਾਉਣਾ, be ਮੈਂ ਸਹੀ ਹਾਂ, ਹਨਾ, ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਹਾਂ. But what happens in that situation, or situation which ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕੀ ਆ, all it does is creates disharmony. ਉੱਥੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ you're not willing to understand the other person's view. ਕਰਕੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ we discussed this earlier, ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, 2 ਜਾਣੇ ਹੋਣ, 4 ਜਾਣੇ, 5, 6 ਜਾਣੇ, ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਛੇਤੀ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇਵਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਾਂ ਵੀ ਆਹ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਆ, this is the way to get this right, this is the solution. But they might have their own solution. But ਜੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ solution ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ, you're going to be offended. ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਮੰਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ. But everybody has their own way of dealing with things. And I understand people genuinely do want to help. Most people do come from a place of love, and they do ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਹੋਊਗਾ. But there's a choice. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਪਰ ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੋਚੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੋਚੀ ਆ. Is that the right word? ਸੋਚੀ, ਸੋਚਣੀ, not ਸੋਚੀ. But it's okay ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ ਦੇਤੀ ਆ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ ਨਾ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੋਊਗੀ, ਪਰ I'm just giving my view. ਪਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰੋ. That's the easiest way of coming over that situation. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਕਰਦੇ we fall out because I want to be right, but that person wants to be right. But sometimes, and this is where I'm a very strong believer of space and not reacting straight away. ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਛੇਤੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇਈਏ. Sometimes it's good just to listen and let that person come to their own conclusion. If they still want your help in that situation, ਉਹ ਆ ਸਕਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ. ਪਰ ਜੇ if we're so full of ourselves and we want to push our opinion, ਵੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਾਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ, ਉੱਦਾਂ ਕਾਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ, we're just unhappy really, because we're just picking out other people's faults. ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਆ. ਅਸੀਂ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਆ. I can honestly say I know I'm full of mistakes, but at least I can say to myself, I'm trying to make myself a better person. Forget about being a better person compared to somebody else, but I want to work on myself every single day, because you know, life is a journey. You know, we never arrive at our destination until we die, and that's, you kind of got there then. But most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they listen with the intent to reply. So that's not coming from a great place, that's just coming from a reactive
it's
place.
A survival behavior. So in order to survive, you want to be heard and you want to feel important, and to feel like you can handle yourself in situations, and then you had that some sort of power over somebody. People love to have power on others, especially if you think they're wrong. So it gives them a sense of superiority. But just ask yourself at the puchakara, next time when somebody doesn't agree with you, okay, maybe okay, and ask yourself, how much time do you spend afterwards ruminating on that thought? I need to get this straight, I need to sort them out, I need to get this. That's not coming from a place of that same, like the Kore Digal, I need to get this sorted, I need to go to the Maharaja, the king, you find the solution to this. But if, as long as you know, I know my truth, and I'm happy in that, I'm not going to invest any more time in this. This is what we call coming from a higher consciousness place, because I know that Satyaikiya, and it's enough for me. I don't want to be right in this situation. Right now I just want to be happy, because it mere setwa se theek hai, and if I'm happy, mere parivar theek hai. That's where your parivar will obviously they will attract your feeling of the health and well-being, and just thinking positive, they would benefit from that. So like I said, it's incredibly highly beneficial when we focus on what makes me happy. What makes me happy right now? I do not want to engage in this conversation. I know what the truth is. But we give our power away the moment you think, no, I need to get this sorted out with you. You're not gonna, get away with this. But that's coming from a place of thinking, same again, the ego thinks that no, you've just been offended, now you got to protect your
territory,
your territory, your self-respect. No, you don't want them. You just want to cultivate, be happy.
Place,
and then come from a place of being a coach, like as we are coaches. So we give our guidance and our therapy, but we do it from a place of, if they want to take it on board, it's fine, our clients. If they don't want to, it's their choice. You see, and that's the same we've got to do with all our families and friends, that I know from a coaching perspective how to understand this situation, how the mind works, how the body works, how the universal laws work. I know that's enough, but right now, what if you want to take this on board, it's fine. If you don't want to, I'm not going to invest any more time in this. But this is how all our gurus and the saints who walked this planet, they were like coaches. They all did the same thing. Not everybody agreed with them. Not everybody understood them. But they didn't force anyone. That's it. And they just carry on. They knew the most empowering, the powerful thing you can do is keep yourself on a high vibe. Not to think that, oh, they didn't understand my teaching, my sakhi, whatever. They won't be worried about that. And that's enough. If they want to take it on board and learn from it, it's up to them. If they don't want to, bhi theek hai, dono hi theek hai.
And also, what we have to remember, ek gal bahut zyada zaruri hai chit rakhno, that not everybody is going to understand. Because we all talk in different ways, we understand in different ways. ਤਾਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਾਸਤੇ ਤੇ, ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਨਾ understand ਹੋਵੇ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ whatever somebody is talking to you about, that's not the right time for you to take on board whatever is being spoken about, or you're not willing, and that's okay, because life is always going to be about lessons. Kisi nu sheti pata lag janda, kisi nu bahut chiran baad. Some people just never learn or are willing to learn, and that's okay. But कई बारी सानू हुंदा भी ऐसी है ना, दस के शायद आ गल कोई भी गल होवे, इन्हां दे दिमाग च चंगी तरह बैठ जावे, मैं है ना पठाड़ के रखनी है जोर ला के, I'm going to really force this on information onto this person. मैं इन्हां दे मगर जाके मैं force करके इन्हों दसना आ गल मैं समझानी है, and that comes from such a not a kind place. It's a forceful. It's in some ways it's like bullying. You know, भी मैं अपना जेड़ा मेरा opinion है मैं force करना दूसरे ते. That's not right. It's not kind. It's not coming from a good place. Like you say, it's very low vibration. But if you come from a place of understanding, अगला गल करे ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਸੁਣੋ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਸੁਣੋ, and then you work out where do we want to go with this, because that's the only place that is going to create some kind of harmony. But if it's, well, you're wrong, I'm right, well, what do you do with that? That is stalemate. That's just going in opposite directions, and there is never a great outcome from that. Because I feel like my opinions, why isn't my opinion or my view as valuable as yours? Why is your opinion or view more important than mine? Because you think yours is more valuable than mine, and that's where the disparity is. Jitte tusi sote main badhiya ha, you know, I'm better than you, and that's really coming from a place of insecurity anyway. But I'm willing to listen to you, understand you, and accept what you're saying, but I still might not agree with it. So it's just thinking about things in a different way. कि तुसी थोड़ा जिहा हौली हौली प्यार दे नाल हलीमी दे नाल एक दूजे नाल बात करके, you know, you can come to some kind of solution. But जे नहीं भी, you can come, if you can't come to a solution, just say चलो जिथे तुसी हैगे आ तुसी ठीक है, जिथे मैं हैगी मैं ठीक है.
Yeah, I mean we have a lot with children as well, disagreements, because ajkal de nyane, they think differently how we did, especially things like I would say to my kids sometimes, oh, you shouldn't drink too much of Coke or Diet Coke. Even Diet Coke's just as bad, because I think the artificial sweetener is not good. But they think, no, it's better than drinking normal Coke. You know, but they have their own understanding. But I can't force it onto them that you shouldn't have this. They'll learn in their own times, and I'm not going to waste any more time trying to explain it. Sometimes you think, well, you're a mother, your responsibility to the bachcha, and they said you should. But I'm thinking sometimes they will learn at their own time. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things hunde rehinde every day on a daily basis. Those things will be happening, you know, and even with your partner sometimes, you know, I think it is so important that to say changi thara, you shouldn't be eating this food, you know, having too much of this is not good for you, and they won't agree. They just carry on doing what they want to do. Either I'm going to get, it's like I know some friends, right, and she's always worried about her husband. I said the khayal nahi rakhta hai, is always having too much of things you shouldn't have, and it doesn't look good. And she goes, मैं कह के थक गई हूँ. She always says,
that's the line, isn't it? मैं कह के थक गई हूँ. मेरी नहीं एक गल सुनना. And
then I said, but रहने फिर आपे of the time, you know, he will sort himself out. But then she's doing it, but she's worried. She's scared if you're, you know,
कुछ हो ना जावे.
बीमारी है, that's
heart attack ना हो जावे.
Something like that. I'm like, तो ओवी पुट्ठा सोचती हैं. I said, you just focus on yourself. तो आप दा से ता ख्याल रख, आप दा बच्चे आना से ता ख्याल रख. And he sees that you're doing it. आप पे उन्हें, you know, don't force it on them. When you're forcing out to them, then they feel they rebel even more.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're forcing something. They get, you know, upset about it.
And I think sometimes, I mean, I know this might sound really bad, but कदी कदी रब आपे कर देंदा कुछ ना कुछ where उन्हां नू एडी बड़ी सट लगदी है that they have to change their lifestyle, है ना. And सानू पता there's plenty of situations, you know, where we know भी अगला गलत करदा जा असी आप गलत कर दे. It's very difficult food wise. I think living in this society, eating good, wholesome, natural food is very difficult. Karke, you know, there's so many temptations. So I totally understand that. And the convenience, I mean, we did a whole episode on this. But, you know, ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਪਰ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਤੇ ਅਸਰ ਪੈਣ ਲੱਗ ਪੈਂਦਾ, we get frustrated, angry, ਵੀ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਕਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ, ਸਹੀ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਖਾਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਾਂਦਾ, ਆ ਕਰਦਾ, ਉਹ ਕਰਦਾ, drinks too much, eats too much, you know, ਸਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ, you know, ਪੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਸਦੀ, shirt ਨਹੀਂ ਫਸਦੀ.
Yeah.
He's gone into extra large or something like that. Then, you know, maybe there's some part of us that feels embarrassed that the other person doesn't look that good. There's so many different emotions
involved. But you want
involved.
them to look good with you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're doing it for yourself, not for them.
So then that comes into it as well. Yeah. But at the end of the day, jidda marji, you know, we have to, even though it's difficult, respect that person for their view, their opinion. Be ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ life ਜੀਣੀ ਆ, they can. But as as human beings, we want to push our own views onto other people for their betterment.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always come across like that.
We as human beings, we don't like being told what to do.
Oh, 100%.
Nobody
likes that.
Nobody likes that. And that's what happened again during the lockdown. A lot of people being offended, getting very upset, getting very triggered, but they were told what to do because you can't go to certain places, you can't be close to somebody. There's so many restrictions.
You can't visit certain people.
That was triggering people left, right and centre, because we just don't like being told what to do, and that is a major, major trigger. So if I'm telling someone, a loved one, it's not good for you, even though they know it's saying hegi, just because you told them, they're not going to listen to you. But if somebody else tells them in another way, like say someone professional, then they'll do it.
Yeah.
But because you told them, nobody likes being told what to do. So, I mean, again, families in our, like, let's say, my kids, we have so many different views and opinions.
Which is good.
So many different ones, right? But because we don't try and impose on each other, and we just, if that you're happy with that, it's fine. Even listen to music as well. We have different taste in music, but you should like the movies with the kanjana. But it's not my type of movie. But why? I don't get it. This is so good for you. This really makes you think. But
they're not willing to listen at that time.
Yeah, but whatever it is, music, food, way of just living, saying anything, places, jhana, there's so many different. But because we just let them, trust them, that, and they must just say it and say, that's why we got more harmony. We got so much love and respect. We don't have disagreements. Because honestly, luckily, we don't have ladaiyan or whatever, or clash, because we just respect each other's different opinion and views. But there would be problems if I say no, but I know better, I'm the mother, I know this is not good for you, and I force them to. That's where this conflict's going to happen. And that's actually, we find ourselves going distance and pulling away from each other. But we just got to respect that. In their own time, there's a lot of things I know now that I didn't know when I knew I was younger, and my parents were trying to tell me things when I was younger, although I didn't want to understand it. But now I understand it now.
And I think you have to go through that process.
Yeah.
क्योंकि कई बारी हुंदा आ साडे पेरेंट्स ने सानू कहना है भी जदों ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਹੋਗੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਣਾ. And it's true. Because then you have a deeper understanding क्योंकि when you were a child, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਫਿਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ. You weren't worried about everything. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ, I don't know what the quote is. ਬਾਪੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ and all that. I don't know. It's something about, while you've got your parents, above you, like here in this world and stuff, you don't have a worry in the world. Well, that's true. And our children are going to feel the same. Because why would they worry while they've got their parents doing so much for them? But one day when they have children, feri pata lagna, and then they'll appreciate everything that you did for them. But what we're talking about at the end of the day is about respect. Agreeing to disagree where conversations happen and things like that, and not forcing what you're saying onto other people, respecting each other's space and coming from a place of love, because je tusi idda nahi karde, then you are going to create a situation where somebody feels that, oh well, I can't talk to that person because they're not willing to listen. So it's always about being open to have calm, kind conversations, because if you're coming from a place of I'm right, be quiet, don't listen, you can't speak because I'm in charge, then nobody can be secure or content or willing to have a peaceful conversation, because that conversation is never going to go to a place of where it's going to end well. It's always going to finish on a situation where there's going to be some kind of conflict because the other person's not willing, and then that's where people won't talk. They will just be quiet. Can I be itte gal karan da fayda nahi, because then they recognize your pattern of shouting and not listening, and think, Jalla, I'm just not going to say anything because I know my value, my opinion, or I know what my voice is telling me. But jadon tusi sunno nahi tayar, jad tusi kisi nu thalle la dena or say something that's unkind, फिर गल करन दा मतलब की है. And this is why a lot of ladies do have a lot of issues because they don't feel that they can talk, whether it's in a family situation, whether it's with their partners or their children. Because उन्होंने चुप कर देना, they're going to shut them down, and you think, चल इधर नालों, you know, I'll go to the gym, go to the Gurdwara, I'll do this or whatever, just to keep the peace.
It's just that when we watch movies, Vagera, let's say recently we watched Chamkila, Animal, and all these sort of movies, everybody had their own opinion.
Of course.
And doesn't mean no one's right or wrong. They're all coming from how they understood it. And it's sometimes, thinking, how could you say that when this was happening? Like, there's a lot happening in the Chamkila movie. Like, everybody had a different opinion, and but it doesn't mean the other person is wrong, and there's no one right in it. It's just like it's
just an opinion.
Yeah. And then if you think about the universal law is that everything outside of it is neutral. There's not right or wrong. It's only the meaning we put on the filters we look through. So our filters could be a place of it's wrong to use people with money, or money is not good for you. So we're gonna, with that, if that's the filter we're looking through, if we see a story about a rich man and thinking, he's only rich because he's used somebody, he's
a crook,
manipulated someone. Or somebody who actually values themselves and value money and thinking, he's deserving of that. So can you see it's all different views and different people looking through different filters, that we're going to put a different meaning on that situation when it's absolutely neutral. There's nothing right or wrong about it. So that's why when we are wasting so much time thinking, I'm only going to feel confident and respected and liked by other people when they agree with me. That's not coming from a place of feeling really secure about yourself. That's coming from a place of really you're quite insecure yourself, you know, that you need somebody else to agree with you. That is not a place coming from the godness who we are, because the godness who we are, it doesn't have any opinion. It's unconditional love. There's no conditions that it has to be this way, that way. It's just acceptance, allowance of everything. You know, for God, the grass is red as well. For God, the grass is green as well. There's no right and wrong. Yeah. So the God in us won't even get involved in that argument. It just thinks that the God will think, I'm only going to feel what brings me joy and happiness. That's the God state we need to be in a situation. Right out of this interesting sort of situation, where I can cultivate happiness and kindness, and that kindness can kind of come to me because I'm actually going to think, I'd rather let the donkey be happy. If he thinks the grass is red, let him be happy, because I want to be happy too. And mere vaste green, I'm happy, other vaste red, I'm happy, but the godness in me just wants to choose happiness out of this situation.
And again, it's going on from what you're saying, you know, what is more important? Is it to be right or is it to be happy? You know, GSC, you know, Jan Bujh ke mon ki conversations kari jaiye, you know, just to say I'm right and you're wrong, then you're not going to be happy. Same, you know, like you said, तुसी अपने थे सही हैं, मैं अपने थे सही हैं, and that's it. The conversation's finished. Same, what we'll do, we'll think about it again and again. Why did they say? This happens a lot when people gossip. You know, you might find out that somebody said something negative about you. Okay, they said it, but you know, am I going to go and confront that person? Because it might be 100 people. 100 people might be saying something negative about me or about Dad or both of us together. But are we going to be able to challenge all of those people? Do we even want to do that? No. If that's what they think, that's fine. You carry on with your life, we'll carry on with ours. As long as we know that what we're doing is for what we feel is good for humanity, you know, and it brings us joy, regardless of how we feel that we know it's helping other people. But as long as we feel that we're doing something that's good, then we're happy. And people's opinions are going to be always going to be like that, and that's okay. You know, tusi apne raah, asi apne raah, and that's okay.
But if everybody agreed with us, can you think? If everybody agrees, what are we going to learn? How are we going to grow? How are we going to evolve?
Yeah.
So they're giving us a chance now. Okay, I've got a choice here now. Am I going to go into this disagreement with you and waste all my time? or oh, I'm going to cultivate this new muscle, new way of thinking, that actually whatever you say is tikya. So my purpose in life is now, if you say 5 plus 4 is 9, and I'm saying 4 plus 5 or 6 plus 3 is 9, we're both right. The answer is the same, but I'm not going to force you to say 6 plus 3 is 9. If you agree it's 5 plus 4, we're both right in our own ways. So we just got to respect other people. And in our world, the grass is green, the donkey saw the grass was red. That's the reality he's living in. So, but we lose our power when forcing someone to agree with us.
And we've got to just come to a place of acceptance. I think acceptance is, in key in the whole of this conversation, that, if I accept that, they have the same rights that I have, it's all about rights and it's about respect and be about back, then that's okay. I don't need to be right. I want them to be happy. I want my children to be happy. I want my, family to be happy. Well, you go about doing your business and I'll go about doing mine.
So anyway, we like to say thank you to the Gada donkey for teaching us so much. And
she's the Gada, I'm the donkey. Or I'm the donkey and she's the Gada.
We're both there you are. We're going to agree or disagree.
Yeah, there you go.
But rather be the Gada than the Koda. The Koda was trying to prove something. So who actually was more enlightened was actually the Gada. The Gada we perceive that.
I'd rather be the king actually. I want to be the king. I want to be the king.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little episode.
So
There's lots of learning. Thank you.
Take care.